Hello. Happy Sunday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good evening. Good morning, good evening, good morning, good evening. Depend on the Ogbonge time where they watch this Ogbonge broadcast from. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, invite others. This particular broadcast is a very important broadcast. When you see the topic over there, Arisco Osemwengie should tell us what happened to Osarobo Ogiamien. Yes. In short, I will put down for them say justice for Osarobo. Because we don't hear different things when they talk now. Arisco Ogiamien Osarobo. So please share this video, everyone, and feel free to write where you are watching from. Thank you all for coming. Share. Feel free to share this video. Okay? Share this video. We want to hear a lot of things concerning this Uda, Arisco, Ogiamien, Ogiomba. So a lot of things that we want to talk on this Ogbonge broadcast. Our leader there here with us, our congregate Izoduwa. So him feel free to share me out, everyone. Share this video and feel free to write.
And we are the enemies of the Oba Benin. The Oba Benin and the Ogiamien are always one and two. Nobody who is not playing Ogiamien can use our future unnecessarily.
Benins, both at home and abroad, have been very angry over the withdrawal of the criminal case against the said rich Arisco Osemwengie and one other. We want to hereby state categorically that the said Mr. Arisco Osemwengie is not the Ogiamien. He has no locus to claim or be addressed as Ogiamien. Neither has he any right to the title Ogiamien of Benin Kingdom.
I want to put a 2 million naira bet. 2 million naira bet. And I want to pose one simple question to Ogiamien, that they should bring one book, one book, a book written by any Edo man or written by any historian that are not Evian, wherefore he regarded Ogiamien family as a blue blood. Wherefore he regarded Evian as a king. Any historian that are not Ogiamien, wherefore he regarded Ogiamien family as a blue blood. Wherefore he regarded Evian as a king.
Okay.
Please listen to the Ogiamien family as reported by ITV Benin.
After a year, Corruption will not proceed.
We are using this video to tell anybody who is misusing the name of Ogiamien to insult the Benin. We are Ogiamien, we are Benin, and we are not the enemies of the Oba Benin. The Oba Benin and the Ogiamien are always one and two. Nobody who is not playing Ogiamien can use our future unnecessarily.
We are not an enemy to Oba, because what Arisco have done to Benin is bad. What Arisco have done to Ogiamien people is bad. As you can see, the Ogiamien people have come out a march to cry out.
Exchanging views with newsmen earlier, elders of the Ogiamien family said Prince Rich Arisco Osemwengie is not a member of their family. Speaking on behalf of the Ojonwe of Ogiamien family, Mr. Samuel Ogiamien said the authentic Ogiamien, Osarobo Okonga, is believed to still be alive.
Mani Ogiamien, the original Ogiamien, Maemo Bobo, Bena Wabe Mudiaka Kaka.
Rich Arisco Osemwengie is not from this family, and we, the Ogiamien family, will fully support the palace during the coronation ceremony.
The Ogiamien of Benin Kingdom is still alive, and we believe that he will return home soon, and we will not allow any stranger to claim the rights of the Ogiamien's family.
Rich Arisco Osemwengie is not a member of this family and we are not in support of his activities.
The Ogiamien family also disclosed that a lawsuit has been instituted against Prince Rich Arisco Osemwengie for using their family name to cause conflicts in Benin Kingdom. Deborah Ubeifun reporting.
Okay. Yeah, my congregation, please go ahead because I'm not going to you come in, so you will not usher in our brother Zodowa.
Yeah, hola Coco West for creating time to do this important program, and at the same time also I thank you and I greet you, and also greet your followers and those who at the same time who is not also following you, and our brother also who has been quaking for the unity and tranquility of Edo Kingdom. My brother, comrade Imasu Zodowa, you are welcome to the program. So, Kakabo, you are here today. Basically, what is here is the confusion of who is who. It's about somebody else, an imposter, trying to claim an identity that does not belong to him, and at the same time trying to rewrite and write himself into history. So I'm happy where we take a time away to come and explain to us, being one of our great son of the Benin Empire who knows about our history and our heritage. So where's the Kakabo? Wakabo, you know, kind, because a lot of people have been calling me and they want to know who is the real person. If this Arisco, is he an imposter or is he from the father line? Is he related to the Ogiamien? And that is the main question. And secondly, writing himself into other people's history, trying to claim what does not belong to him. A lot of calls and a lot of text message. So please, sir, kindly, you make kind, and then because of our youth now who are very inquisitive, who wants to know what is going on. Once more again, I wish your wife happy Mother's Day. You come about to your house. Wesley, you are welcome to the show.
Domino.
Okay.
Why I was well, a matter of Ogiamien, I think several times I've trashed it. Even a video no where Benin. I think that video I did it 2 years ago, about 2 years or 3 years ago.
Wow.
I placed a bet. Aside a boge, navi anigme. Gary enogi kaido kenedogme kenawe European historians kene agme ke archival materials kenate intelligent report they should be able to bring one that referred to their lineage, and I refer to their lineage as a royal line. That is the question I've asked. Well, for a fact, but for all the research I made, when all of these issues were cropping up in 2015, 2016, Akedo, Mobaba, and all of that. That's 2016, where all of these issues cropped up. The Arisco did impose himself as an Ogiamien, but the palace, who is a custodian of the traditions and cultures of the land, now said that Egi Nerai Nomohe, inheritable chieftaincy title, asegbe no. Namuna ona wu ona yegbeyi oheke runda Ogiamien title ni Ohamo bae no is a chieftaincy title in the palace. So it is only the Oba of Benin that has a prerogative of reaffirming the chieftaincy title. Namuna ona yegbeyi ahaman ovieye we adiegwa Oba will reaffirm it. Now Namuna was during the time of Oba Akenzwa. Again, buried there, again, Toy Arioro 78, buried there in 1979. Namuna was a young boy at that time. Anatie Chief Osarobo Okonga. Near what buried there were the Ekiokpagha Treaty. I will also speak about the Ekiokpagha Treaty, and I will also in this live video dispel that the Ekiokpagha Treaty is a lie. Is a lie. And moreover, Ekiokpagha Treaty is a post-coronation activity. Pre-coronation activity and post-coronation activity. Pre-coronation activity on emi ya na hu ese ya na ze emi ya no keke ne edaken hu okeri oba. We call those pre-coronation activities. But Ekiokpagha Treaty is post-coronation. Ariobane. Aya werun da egbeminani sunu sometime 800 years ago. So the Ekiokpagha Treaty does not have a lucus standing in the coronation activity of the incoming Oba of Benin. Airiobani and I are aware the Battle of Unweru. You know, saying a Battle of Unweru. I will explain all of that later. So, Osarobo, boy, in our barrier, there are not about Ekiokpagha, the mock battle. The mock battle, because the original battle had happened during the reign of Oba Wedo, who reigned in about the 13th century. So the mock battle, so Anna will and Osabonina Amado Tamegwa Bimiro Basunu Dae. If you cannot, because only Osabo Megie na wege Akenzwa. Now Osabonina Amado ta a family Boge Amado Tabegwa ve emi sunu dae. How come a non person who is a thug, when Arisco is a thug, allegedly, allegedly by allegedly. Now, and do enforce in Ogiamien. I don't know. In the first instance, what happened to Osarobo? The family has not officially come to report that Oyegbeyi. What now prompted you people to go and crown another one? Why the current holder is yet to be confirmed dead or alive? So these were the questions that the Oshomole government at that time had asked. So if you were not enabled by the palace to go and take that title, you become an illegal occupant of that title, which is liable to Jason. Sentence that White House or Oko. So escorting. So I also until Oswani Nodak Bani Kedowe Muela Diana, a Kesini and fine, but that's not even the essence of what I want to talk about. So, but like I said, I don't but from judging from what the larger family had presented that Osarobo Yoroto, so that means Arisco is an illegal occupant of that chieftaincy title. And that chieftaincy title is a title only that can be bestowed on their family members by the Oba of Benin. So, as of today, the Ogiamien that the Benin Kingdom recognizes, or Chief Osarobo Kongai. Nati Arisco ni illegal ni hin. Illegal wa ni hin ni ama no my Ogiamien title. The palace is not aware of that. That is an illegal. But like I said, it's maternally related to your Ogiamien family. Like I said, in market Benire, this could be true. This could be speculative. It is not in my place to get involved on family matters. My own involvement on this matter is who are the Ogiamien people? What is their historical significance to Benin Kingdom? Why are they given the notion that they are the original rulers of this land? On your Kaimewo, you understand? In your Kaimewo,
very well.
Okay, this and that, you who know, and all of that. Those are palace matter to worry about, not my own. But for me, is to put this historical narrative as plain and accurate as possible. The first thing, Niaha, Oiwe, Ianya Tedu, they own the land. That is the first question that they have asked. Now, this is my response to them at all times. Why are you tedu Una wunyami? You have to not prove. You might just understand.
Very well.
If you said you own a property, though udimoto na, a police now do arrest you. And I am moto na. Uvie bi moto ni ya.
Kakabo.
I mean, we be moto ni ya okay. Wogile ya moto na. The Ogiamien should come out. Not all those lies. They will be beating around the bush. They want the story to be about the Oba dynasty. Don't fall for that lies. Let's assume that Oba dynasty Nagiti Oba, whether Oranmiyan, Eweka the first and all that. Let's assume that they don't exist. Later, I'm your Babedo. We are assuming now. I'm your Babedo for the purpose of a plain historical debate. Let's assume I'm your Babedo. Okay, now, since I give me your Babedo, the Ogiamien now should come and prove to the Edo people. Because Evian was not the only surviving Edo or Godomigodo, however they want to call it, that existed at that time of history. So let them come and tell us how Evian owns Edo land. Ask them that question. They don't have an answer. Because that is the genesis of every single argument that they argue. Our bari kuti obari ne ena fien ena mo otoni ena mo noba. That's the argument. So in the first place, since ya mo toni noba, ari mo toni ni ya dai.
Wow.
Because ya mo toni mo noba dai. Ari mo to oredo ni ya dai that they not claim that they own it. Because they were not the only family that had existed at that time of history. At that time of history, there were already almost about 12 families chronologically that had existed. 12 major families at that time. Amongst these 12 major families, how did they not claim to own the land? So this is the first question that they must answer. Yeah, when we kata bana our Barry Matana, because that's where they want to put the line. So let's go back to history again. Let's go back to history again. Let's go back to history before the Ogiso's time. Let us go and unveil the secrets from the pre-Ogiso history through the Ogiso history before the Oba history. So you cannot talk about Oba and not talk about Ogiso.
Exactly.
Because the people must exist first before the monarchy must come from. Kingship comes from the people. It is not the people that come from kingship. Before the Ogiso, before the first Ogiso, which is Ogiso Igodo, became Ogiso in Benin, who were the custodians of those lands, they will not be able to answer because they don't know anything about Benin history. So let's not trace the owners to the very beginning of our history. Paidu, three boys and 4 females. This is how you trace history. The 4 male he had, 3 male he had. The first was Aka. The second was Efa. The third was Emehi. Oni arueha Eme Paidu no Bwedu. Aka, Efa, Emehi. But along the line, Marike Saidi Galade is a very long story. I don't want to go too deep. Not to confuse anyone. I can give part 1, part 2, part 3 to part 10 of Maya Uhe. Uhe is the present day Kogi state. Day, Okpana Guwo Dewo on a North Jonoro, Ana Ati Aka. Then Evawo Ose Edo, Ana Ati Efa Emehi. Efani Vemehi Odo Bwedo. Ivie do ya no virat more imi. Isida ivie fa or ivie mehi. Emahi. Kawoba Kawogiso. Eva, these are the 2 pioneering families of Edo land. One Itana, 2 pioneering families of Edo land. Memesho Ogiamien.
No.
Memesho Ogiswa.
No.
Memesho Oba.
No.
These are the owners of Edo land. So at what time of history did the Ogiamien people want to buy the land from these 2 families? Funny enough, the direct descendant of this family, one Boyana do Zola Janwuya. But
exactly.
These 2 families still maintained their originality. Egbe Lamehi, where Egbe Laidu. Lamehi, Laidu. Laidu, or Egbe Efa. Nagicho Ogiefa no Mwekbo. Ogiefa no Zeben.
Correct.
Then you have Lamehi. Ema Yerowe do not we Laidu. Ema Yerowe do not we Lamehi. These are the 2 owners, the original owners of Edo land. Every other families came from them. The Ogisos, the 31 Ogisos at one point in time came from them. The Obas of Benin came from them. Likewise, the Ogiamien came from them. At what point in time did these original families ceded the ownership of the land to Evian? They are not going to tell you that. The only thing they will tell you that they own Edo land. How? Again, attack. In my constructive analysis, I haven't said that the Obas of Benin own Edo land. I haven't. Did I? In my how talk. But at one point in history, these people surrendered their right of ownership to the monarch, not their Ogiamien. Because in the first instance, Ogiamien has nothing. Do you understand? Who were these two families now? Anna and Manazo. Now, if you pay attention, a lot of persons do not pay attention. There is a right. No give every year during the festival. So no give adwa o give anu mwepo because here bawa no ten wa hin ana vieme vayo to no jona zeben ne pere no rona ona zekpo ana be emi no rekpo ni o magion ave gbera o give to boy oba on no ruwepo ni. But I can also tell you what is there. But I can tell you for a fact that part of the ceding of the authority of the land to the Oba are enact any time that will give an umwekbo ya do we me begwa. So the original two owners, like I have said, are the Egbe Lamehi and Egbe Laidu. It is a statement of fact. Let them come and debate me on it. Let them come and prove it wrong. And at a boy, you cannot claim to be the owners of the land. You cannot claim to know the history. You cannot say you are factual. Then who ya koasema who do moya your salary ni defend well. That's what they do. They try to recruit those people. They are lying boss already different people with WhatsApp do they by ma. Yes. Oh man of temata or we recruit man. Do you recruit people if you are in the way of truth?
No, you don't recruit.
Did the Oba Benin recruit me?
No.
Am I under the salary of the Oba Benin? No. But we are fighting for the truth. Those who said Inyagele Nyato, why are they trying to bribe Edo people to join them? Huh? Mata lekoko se mata or mata.
Confirm.
It is only lie you buy. You cannot buy truth. So why are they buying people? You know how many people that comes from my inbox that they inbox me say they must join the Ogiamien family to take fight Oba family. Okay. For what? Do you think even if God forbid they defeat Oba family, do you think that the Edo people will agree that Ogiamien should rule over them?
No.
What are they fighting for? What are they fighting? Do you think that, let's now assume, God forbid, Edo Wae, Nika Wae, that the Oba dynasty ceased to exist? Do you think that my family Oragbon, Yagwa, Lord Maya, do subservient to than the Ogiamien family? So they will not force us to go and be subservient to them. The Oba of Benin has never forced himself on the Edo people. It is our servitude to him. That is why we can die for his matter.
Exactly.
Our relationship in our force, you know. Many I will say in the past 7-8 years. I can say. But many I will say, as far as then, so it did. You not move, you not shake.
Urban they go transfer.
Them and even for 800 years. Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you how foolish and stupid they are. Ask them this question again. I'll give you some facts that they cannot answer to. In one of my videos, I said the first recorded historical event where a human sacrifice was ever conducted, Ogiamien. Don't take me to court. I'll bring books and show them.
Come again.
The first recorded human, that the first people to to do perform a human sacrifice. Near accuse Egwai for.
That is during the time when they were administrative for some time. During the time of their.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it was not really during the time of administrative. It was during the time of Obaewedo.
Okay.
They were no longer in control anymore. They were no longer in control. Ewedo has defeated them. Now,
okay, please, can you just for a few minutes elaborate on that human sacrifice, because they all the time, the Ogiamien family all the time attribute that havoc to the palace. Please, sir.
They are the first person to perform the human sacrifice. Now, ask them this question. There was a son, Ovi Hogbe, married a daughter. Anati a daughter ni. Ask them the question. Anati Ewe marry one of the Ogiamen's daughter. All those lies that they are telling you that the royal family do not marry themselves. Pure lie. Pure lie. Even during the time of Obadolo, not too long ago, the then Ogiamien married one of the daughters of Obadolo called Princess Igbinake. So they are telling you which their own brother, who is a professor, I think the first black man to establish a private university in the United States, called Professor Tony Ogiamien, assented to in one of his interviews on their own newspaper, Ogiamien Trumpet, where he agreed that he came from the line of Princess Igbinake, who was a daughter of Obadolo. But in lie, they're going to tell you that part of the Ekiokpagha Treaty, they cannot marry themselves. And there are proofs where they have married themselves. So that can only show one thing. The thing that it can show is that Ekiokpagha Treaty is a ruse. It does not exist. It's a lie. Because in the first place, I've established now, because at that time of history, they believe it was an abominable act when the royal family married one of their daughter, one of the Ihama Ogbe's son married one of the daughter. That daughter Ewe was sacrificed. Ask them. If they deny it, I'll bring a book written by Professor O.S.B. Omoegi and show them proof. I will bring intelligent reports. I have a particular book now. I will bring it, an intelligent report materials. A journal, which is called Oranmiyan Journals, which was published in 2004 by a Russian professor, where she stated it, that a human sacrifice was carried out by the Ogiamien family on their daughter. One of their daughters was sacrificed. Called Ewe. These are historical facts. Am I able to understand?
Very well.
But if you are not grounded in the history, they have laid all manner of lies, no substantiated fact. I give facts. I give reference point. They cannot tell you that. You cannot be a judge in your own matter. Put your facts out there. Don't be insultive about it. Don't be arrogant about it. Let me tell you, in 1897, ask them this question. In 1897, the British gave home Milton the unjustly invasion of Edo. Now, the British wanted, because they understood that the umbilical cord that ties the royal house with his people is unsevered. You cannot break it. The British was actually looking for a family that has a sort of connection, that has historical clemency to the throne, so that they can move that throne from the royal line to another entire family. That's what they were looking for.
Nice question.
Now, no, the Ogiamien of that time did not come out. Instead, he supported our Obaseki. No, you see, you don't understand the logic.
Very well.
Now, Omanogi Nyado Oba Ahuene. Ebodo Ladiana yana okay. Any family, yana do agwale family. Tania Ebe Amuna. Wano wanya do Wamaladian. Instead, when I support Obaseki.
Aye. Wala ke Kaladia.
That will have been an avenue for them to claim back
their best avenue. That was their best chance.
Throne.
The throne that they say they own, the British now is giving you the throne on a platter of gold.
And you refuse.
You refuse. Instead, you want to support another person, which was Agwa Obaseki.
Waonia.
Let them ask that question. Ask them the question.
America.
Why did they refuse to take what they called their throne when they had their best possible opportunity? Is it now they think they can get it? Again, those are Ghana. Nobody was even claiming. Until Anado Dwikoyo, because there were a lot of dissenting voices. Anado Dwikoyo, the British came out and said, by nature, what are we supposed to give the Oba? And the chief of that time, Chief Ero of that time, Edaero of that time, stood up, Oba. It is the first son of the deposed king. By traditional right, that must be the king. The Ogiamien of that time was there in that meeting. He did not speak.
He kept mute and silent.
So these are questions.
Now, my leader, when you proceed,
no caller now. No caller now. Later. No caller now.
Okay.
Because let him explain finish. Not that the caller will interject and try to add to it. He's laying historical fact now. Let him finish. Go ahead, sir.
Now, let's go back to Evian. Evian was a man who took advantage of the lack of leadership or the void, not lack now, the void in leadership at that time. When, in order to unravel historical facts, Edowe Emi Nosunu Ayaziri. When we are talking about history, you have to look at a preceding story behind it. Now, Ogiso Irebo instituted there was an Ogiso called Irebo. Now, instituted the greeting system, Nagite, Lamogun, Labeze, and all of that. Now, the pioneering greetings at that time of history, one of them is, I think I've said this thing before. Uhunatwe ayaen egbenakere. Abi? Uhunatwe vedo. Uhuni ego banaswen. Ego kiso. Ohu natwe vedo. If Edoyi Aveyo, more greetings were not being added. Edoyi Aveyo, but they were pioneering about 10 to 12 pioneering greetings. One of those pioneering greetings, or obviously the first two greetings were Laidu and Lamehi. then followed by Laiso, the greetings of the Ogisos. Then, before you now start counting the greetings of the elders of the land, when I have Laogele, Lamosun, which is a row, Laire. That Laire greeting, I want you to take note of it. I want to explain something very academic to you. Don't forget, Laire ni Ogiamien 12. But Ake Uzamani Edion Oredo. Originally there were 5. The 5th one in your Uanagere is called Eholonire.
Exactly.
Eholonire. Atie. Eholonire had existed way before the Oba dynasty. Avec Bezomo, avec Ero, avec Olia, they had existed way before the Oba dynasty. So you cannot say that they were influenced by the Oba dynasty. No, because they were in existence before the Oba dynasty started. So Laire was one of the earliest greetings in the land before the Oba dynasty started. Now, what is Ire? Ire is a deity. When Ezenati Bobariva?
Bobariva.
Originally, Bobariva tie. Ezeni Eneva Ekenona fien Ikbobaira na mobodegeni. Ore atie. On your server ida okuda ominwana edose abe egbe ezore gbiyan o omini asun edoni ezore gbiyan o. Is that Ikoba river that they are referring to? Oheno river ohore atie. But ekenezeni na Mwaladian, when every river has a source.
Yes.
Oruwo horo. You might need to understand. Ekenezeni na honladian, ungodo likbobahi. Ekenezeni na honladian, oruwo horo. You can go and investigate. Ekenona honladian ana atezeni ire. Ekenona fikboba river gberana ate ore. Na ohe no gbaoge boni ekenona zoladian ate eholonire. Ianya boni, inya gbaoge boni. Oni ose ni yana to Laire. And Ogiamien people greet what? Laire. So Ogiamien people are offshoot of Egbe Holonire. They are not related to Ogiso.
Waonia.
They don't have any blue blood flowing through their blood. Otherwise, let them explain to you what Ire means. They greet They don't know. Let them explain to you what Ire means. They greet They don't know. Eboeno. So the Eholonire is the custodian
of heredity.
Of the heredity in which the Ogiamien belongs to. In short, to even make it, let them go and read the book when their favorite historian is Jacob Uwade-Agarewa. Let them go and read the book written by Jacob Uwade-Agarewa titled Evian. If they don't have it, I can give them a copy. Don't miss. It was in that book, Jacob Uwade made it clearly that Evian is a family member of Eholonire. So, if you are an Egbe Holonire, how did you not become the owner of the title? How are you not a blue blood? Where you are Gisore because of Giso to be a Hunia to only Laiso. Was in one night to Laiso.
Hey!
Do you understand?
Very, very logical. Understand?
Well,
Go ahead.
These are not fables. These are not insults. These are statements of fact. Let them go and verify it. Maybe it's they might have, maybe they know. But in all climes of the world, I always say it, they are always anti-royalist. In any royal settings, all over the world, I will like the royal house.
It's certain. Even in Britain, it's like that worldwide.
It's everywhere all over the world. I like the royal house. But they should don't come and make mockery of us and tell us that do when we are not fools. They just come and not twist our history to suit their lies. Am I able to understand?
Very well.
Now, a lot of people have been asking the Ekiokpagha Treaty and the Ekiokpagha Treaty. Ekiokpagha Treaty is not. I've explained. I said is not. Is a ruse, and I will divulge that part. It may not idea. It may not idea. Okay, even a woman has agreed that a matter already I'm seeing one comment. Understand? Now, Evian, because Eminodo Sunu Davi Magi Kaladeran, a lot of people have heard that story.
Yes.
He went on a self-exile. Amagi Mion, Emi and also no very anado vo, anado discover Isago. Oh, you have heard the story, all of that. Oh, yeah, Biego and all of that. And then Ogiso Wodo become enraged and he committed a sin called Kirikuvia. He murdered a pregnant woman, which is a capital crime in Edo land. So he was now banished. Edomaya Mogie for a period of about 70 years. Now, again, in Edomana Mogie, when there is a void of leadership, there are now bound to be rebellion.
Yes.
The elders, not a go giso dole doi, could no longer now manage the affairs of the Edo people. Maybe at that time it was a Godomigodu, or however you want to put it, but everyone understand what I'm saying. These elders could no longer manage the affairs of the Godomigodu people at that time of history. So they were not chaos. Along that line of chaos, the Benin now said that, some believe that that animal could have been a dragon. But I'm not one that can fly. It could have been a dragon, but we don't know. So run doni ekini ekyogisowa atie vegeni. But Edona Edove Ekinagbado Agbari. We go together.
Present location where?
Agbado Market, Akpakpava.
Thank you. I just wanted the audience not down there so that they understand what you're trying to say. Go on, sir.
The original name of that Akpakpava market was Ekiokpagha. But if we cannot do that, Ekinagbado Agbari. So any need to yanya Nagitie Agbado market. So it took the bravery of a young man called Evian, because it was a mental worker. I mean, he used a marathon young winner.
Yes.
Yeah, why we marathon and all of that. On a doya we arrow ninia, he heated it up, and in one of the escapades of that Oshogan, on our fios on our femina name, man, do tia on our he strikes that animal very hard. I mean, in our issue, a domede be me any a boy to orile or to yawu yesu. Because of the bravery of Evian, the Benin now said that we don't have a king. The elders now said, we don't have a king. But for the heroic feats, Emion Yunwa, no, Obiana Unedo, he can't be able to administer the kingdom pending on when the rightful owner comes, on when we have decided on what to do.
Kind of a die.
So whereby a die be a holder of that responsibility. Be a holder of that responsibility. So Evian was very happy. Evian was very happy. So now what was it? So Evian started to now oversee the kingdom for a very long time, for over 60 years. But Ogiamien, he started to nurse the ambition, like every man will be. I can't blame him. If you give me a place, need die, even for 10 years,
you become familiar with it.
So 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 he started to have nocturnal meetings. On do I do equation with some of the elders. He started having meetings with them that since nawa permanent ye bogima. Nawa since ye Mario gay, but Ovien not John na mogine. Do you understand?
Very well.
I don't know Oviogi or Yogi. You do not have the blood, a blue blood. You cannot be an Ogiso. You're only an administrator because they cannot be void of leadership. Now, I think Evian had 3 sons or so. 3 sons. Now, this is a question I have asked, and you should also ask them. If truly they were descendants of Ogiso, they should know that hereditary is from father to first surviving son.
Yes.
But why did Evian boycotted his first son and decided to enthrone his second son? Ogiamien amo emik beha. By Benin, by Godomigodo law, una gelao giso. O tonari orue or to ahari orue. Obi we not John ewa amunania no iragmo. All ile. But he knows that his first son was weak. His first son will not be able to fight for the throne because he needed that ulterior motive. His first son will not be low, but his second son was more radical. Was not radical. Only his second son getting ati irebo. Now, when he knew that the Benins, you cannot be accepted as a king in Edo land except the Olia pronounces you as a king. He now made his third son an Olia. Olia Ogiamien. Because to accept, also ask them, why did they create Olia for themselves? For you to be accepted in Edo, the Olia will have to pronounce you. He's the head of the Evian. So he knows that the Olia will never agree. Ona create Olia.
And a fake in him.
Very fake. The third son, Egbeni or produce Olia Ogiamien. Do you see the arrangement? So if he was a blue blood, why didn't the Benin elders accept him instead of going to Yoruba land to accept another person?
As they claim.
Many mawayenania. Awasi bimae arioti yoba ariogiri. Wa mwemeni uonia. Nene doi wa polo sevegeni. Awasi avivye duni wa redo vegeni. Awa arioti yoba ayamogiri.
When you are Orioveni, I am Moriove Adi.
I am Moriove, yes, not a while back. Wagania. And as your motto, I am Moriove. On the thing as why, and Metamia de Boo as well. So again, a man of Moriove, Mother Wakon, Wamakwe, again, why I take Binan or your Doria, Ogive, do, Wamakbina. Or you do real again for more than 1,000 years. About what do you now? Umade come over. Because I carry a more of it near your now. I am more of it on your babedo. They are my mamma back bina. Instead, or your way. Honor Sia Polowoto. We should call the Battle of Unweru. During the reign of Obayawedo. So the Ogiamien brought war to the Benin.
Right, the second son.
He had
the second son of Evian.
That was the second. At that time, Ogiamien, and that would have been the second son in Atirebo. His grandson, you know, or the great grandson, Evian.
So we take continue. Please call her. What when on our you don't interject. After we finish, then you ask question. No calling in with all respect, due respect. or you know, not clear. Or I finish in there, you cannot ask question or you add to it. Continue, my brother.
So, I got by a word because, like I had established, you must take note because these things are logical. Don't forget, when he was not trying to impose his second son to take over from him, I've only another man. I mean, where do I die? Where we do it? Even our one move. Even our unknowing to him, he didn't know that the Aolia was in constant conversation with a Kaladera at Ile-Ife. So what?
You mean the original Olia, not their fake one?
No, original Olia.
Thank you.
Their fake one. If I want to call their fake Olia, I'll call her Ogiamien. 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 You see, Ogiamien because I'm about Benin story. Nive that all begin at Benin. Olia Otio Bakewere on the Magian bend. Because the key to the throne at that time of history is Olia. Olia at that time of history was like a traditional prime minister. It is the announcement of the Olia Edolele. Evian knew, honestly, not create Olia, Olia. Because in every video, Rockbaya, they buy where Evian's warning because it died. So the Olia now did all that they can to go and retrieve our son in present-day Osun State. No, Uhe is at Kogi. I can take a class. I know there's a difference between Uhe and Ile-Ife. The Uhe, the original Uhe, is at Kogi State. The fake Uhe, or Osun State, near Ile-Ife now. We can take a story, it's Ile-Ife, rightly. Uhe, Kogi State or Ile-Ife. I think I've done about 3-4 hours a lecture on that original Uhe and fake Uhe. So maybe you can go and look at it.
I have the video. I've watched it.
So now, all of those stories, the stories is very long. I don't want to go there. So Anadu, was already old. He was already old because he has also spent over 70 years in Ile-Ife or so, about over 60 years. Because Omawaji Ile-Ife directly when he left Benin, Anaka branch from Urokoko, Onarie Ugotoni, or Biemesoyeva. That's another story for another day. Kaladera one or more. Ona biomoye ugoton ogipa ugoton vedo igwala ona ari okada. I'm telling you the movement. I have all of this. Oyari okada ona ari Erua. Erua was the last place Ikaladeran was before he left Benin. From Erua, he didn't go to present-day Osun State. He first of all went to the original Uhe at Kogi State. From Uhe, Oya circumvent Okedola Ekenagite Ile-Ife Osun State. So these were his own travel. But when he was traveling, he did not go alone. He were Donibun Lele. Ave Ihama, Ave Legema, Ave Letema. Quite a lot of Benins followed him. So that is why when he sent Oranmiyan back, the same people not Lele, Evian the big give with a bad. Ave Legema, Ave Ihama, Ave Letema. That is why Legema, Letema are not Yoruba words. They are purely Benin words. They all came back with Oranmiyan. Oranmiyan did not come as a stranger. He came as a prince of the land, but who was born in a foreign land. So, but now, when Oranmiyan got to Benin, there was a problem. The problem was that Ogiamien, Evian was Yeziniane Wotedo. Don't forget, he was an administrator for almost 17 years. Yeziniane Wotedo. If someone rule a place, when a Cameroon president Pobia was here for many years, the KVI president, to remove him is a very difficult thing.
Very, very.
Evian Ziniane Wedo, Kakabo haven't been an administrator for that too long. So Oranmiyan could not enter the metropolitan Benin. Instead, he stayed at the suburb. Ereni, he can get but him and I cannot bear palace or guy. The first palace. Oranmiyan. Why are you test time road now? Was it
Why is it?
Usama.
Okay, Usama.
Usama.
Okay.
X. Z. Usama, you are referring to Aveolia. Usama Street now. A big palace already. He was not there. We understand all the story. He couldn't stay because of language barrier and all of that. Another Weka was there. Honorable Upahwan was there. No, not Use. Use, that's where he married when he left Benin. That's where he went. Use. That's where Evana be Eweka. So Eweka Upahwan Ehemi and then Ewedo. Now, why Ewedo was different was because Ewedo was not also born in Benin soil and Siloko Road. Ewedo was not born in Benin soil. Ewedo was actually born in present-day Ondo State at the areas of Ilaje because Iyenawa of Ilaje. Anna Princess Fabo. Now, Princess Fabo, when he was growing up in the present-day Ilaje areas, Ondo was also part of the then extended Benin Empire. When he was growing up, he had a premonition and thought that he cannot be on the suburb when in truth he is the real king. He must go inside Benin City, where originally his fathers Narioba. So where do he Rioba? He did not stay at the Usama Palace. Instead, he broke into again Oriobane. He broke into through Isekere, Onali Sekere, again Edowe Amagomi Agutegeli. Ezevanowa aro na giti Isekere street na. Isekere is a vasiti ave mani goko a ferry vasiti ave mani is a seafarer.
Eva meke Isekere vani mekere.
Vani nwekere ni na ezevareva.
Wow.
Ezeni canon. Ezeni na do na do breed mosquito, na do cause malaria. A lot of people were not dying. So the obas of that era now called for someone not do another flavor from Ikpoba Hill, Akemweken, or many Ayafile, another talk for another day. Another flavor. That man that led Benin people to field Zevani. Anatie Nosiezeka.
Wow.
The title now over the years, Aite Ezenika. Ehanika. Agite title Chief Ehanika. Originally, you know what? Nosiezeka. Ezevanowaro. Amagomi Agutegili. Only said during the coronation of a Baiwa, what do me be Isekere Oguwani and a constructed bridge here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what Ugbefa Omonoba on the Ipadoi. Maybe do tia na ya gwezeni.
Obele.
Obele. He's just trying to tell you, can I we bridge in as a Vawarewa originally?
Yeah.
I will bridge la nana to construct Iran no
Yes,
money.
yes.
As a river.
That
That is just the significance. Why may no and say nana construct a wooden bridge here?
Yeah, we're telling advocate to understand the what's here and construct you are
a bridge. Then the Isekere was beside or more on that day. Naya again as a waro across a by word or like do.
Yeah.
Ana time do ama gomi I go tegili as a vawa no omi river and river otegili. But two of them has dried up. So Ewedo entered Benin. When Ewedo entered Benin, he was ready to war the Ogiamien family. Do you understand? He was ready to war the Ogiamien family. Now, the Ogiamien of that era had Yazebo a troop already. Then Obaewedo has also assembled his troop, led by Odigie. Odigie Olomi. That Odigie Olomi was from Ekenatie Ogbe Ibuya. Odigie Olomi Nikiri. He only did the soldier of Obaewedo. So Kwoni Ome Owie Wokpa Natie Unweru. Emanibuma Ewe Wano. Area Asoro Street. Where Unagbero Ogiamien Palace, near a palace in Aguda here. Area Wanatie Unweru. Aiti Asoro Street. Valeria Sokmobawa.
Kabo.
Uwewa Anagbino Kwoni. Okoni Anatie Battle of Unweru. Because Ebonati Unweru Vanagbino Kwoni. Eva Odigena Fiwen. Ogiamien aro vegani.
Ogiamien aro vegani.
Yes. No. Ogiamien aro. Let me not get it. The head of Ogiamen's military
troop.
Troop was severed. Then Ogiamien aro ni onarigwe from that Asoro Street at the Ekiokpagha. Ekiokpagha ni Imanibo Mike no ye. The present day St. Matthews.
Nore Sakmbawa.
Nore Sakmbawa nagi be St. Matthews yi.
Exactly.
Ekiwa arewa. Ekini Okpagha. Iranati Okpagha. Ewa no yana adweki ve Ototo Okpagha ni. Anatieva Ekiokpagha.
Okay, first is secular between Osaro and first is secular.
So Nweru was a community. That was where the battle was fought and won. So Ogiamien aro from Nweru ni ona kon ajo Ekiokpagha. Again your Obaewedo heyan.
To pay homage.
To pay homage. Now, this is where I have fought Ekiokpagha treaty. Now, I don't know whether you people have read Ekiokpagha treaty.
Very well.
Now, don't forget, Obaewedo has just defeated these people. If you read Ekiokpagha treaty, you will discover that the treaty is in favor of Ogiamien as against the palace.
Yes.
Someone who has been defeated will not be dictating a treaty to a victor.
It does not make sense.
We are people now. We should think. We are supposed to. Let's put on our thinking cap. This is not. Don't take side. I tell people, don't take side. Don't take side. Let's bring our logic. So so that you can be able to think for yourself. Now, I have explained the Battle of Unweru. The Ogiamien troop was roundly defeated. The Ogiamien of that era, Onarigwekon from Unweru Ade Ekiokpagha, Ogiseva, a treaty was now reached between Obayawedo and that Ogiamien of that era. Now, but if you look at the Ekiokpagha treaty that they present, the Ekiokpagha treaty is in favor of themselves. Someone who has been defeated, the treaty is not favoring him. How?
How does that make sense?
They said the first treaty was Oba Keri Oba, which is wrong. Oba Gagiri Oba, because the Ekiokpagha treaty is a post-coronation matter.
So already, Owebo was already an Oba before that fight.
There was already an Oba before it. So it is not before Ake Moba. It is always Agagi Mobane and I with that mock battle, the Battle of Unweru.
Exactly.
Now, it is a post-coronation matter. It is usually about 7 to 14 days after Aga Obagagi like Etene. Now, they said Ogagiri Obane, he will not come to the Ogiamien that is existing. Ogiamien do Zeken, or do Zoyo board that Otona Yemayane in rente ene. Do you understand?
Very well.
Now, if that is true, but at the beginning, I have established that Omanoma Yato, Oma Heke no Yotonoma. How did the Ogiamien get to own Edo land? I'm turning in the first place. If you know manya, who were ya no mare, or if you know me ya did o war mare, o war mare, o wanuma bo. When I rent no mare.
Only do to Amanya where I was senior.
Exactly. But on the manya, no more. I don't know whether you understand. So the treaty is faulted. And again, part of the treaty is they cannot marry amongst themselves. But I have established that they married themselves.
Yes. After the treaty.
After the treaty. I have stated two historical time, and I even mentioned name.
Yes.
Ewe married from the royal house near to Dash again after the treaty. Princess Igbinake Oyo Badolo married the then Ogiamien of that era. So how is the treaty not authentic? Now, some Obas, since Obayawedo, observe the treaty out of reenaction of history. Like I have established, it is a post-coronation duty. It is not binding on any Oba.
Yes.
And of the 34 Obas, since counting from Obayawedo, no area Oba, less than 10 Obas have observed the treaty.
Less than 10.
10.
Audience, I hope we're here, damn it all. Why underline it?
Less than 10.
Meaning not all.
No, it's not compulsory.
Okay.
Oba Akensa didn't observe it.
Because the reason why I repeat it again is that because they like using it as if that the whole Oba have observed and respect that treaty.
Impossible. I say it very clearly. If they don't know, they should go and find out now. If they don't know, they should go and find out now that Akenswa didn't observe it. Eweka didn't observe it. It was all by Redawa that observed it. So, and I can guarantee you for a fact, Osarobo na de not turn me. And one of the recommendations I wrote to the palace is that Ekiokpagha treaty should be abolished. He's not the one said it.
And that's
because it's a rules.
It's
a rules. It exists even though. Now, don't forget, I watched one of their particular video where they were saying that Oranmiyan Obakpake kan lewa. Lewa, Oba handle
Okay.
Yes.
Then a lot of people does not know Benin history. When I say, hey, maybe not true, okay, see, that's more though. Oranmiyan Enayaha Egenede Uro Nagmoya Lalawa Oba Elawa Oba na ya talk hamoge you must create a separate opening beside the main opening. No hala, no have laladia. Uroni at Uruemi. Palace of Ogiamok by ye. Or Wogiamok by ye, native palace. Or Wogiamok by ye. It is the norm. If the Oba must enter your house in the old, you must create a separate opening for him to follow and follow out. Or why we lion and why we silly.
Yeah.
It is a peculiar history in the land. It is not only to their household.
Aga.
Inya or wagba. Agba tie.
Agba.
You know when ekete no monoba to tie agba atie. Don't forget. Let me tell you this story. Again, you know, one of the things that the Ogiamien, after they were defeated at Unweru, one thing that he pleaded for was that Obayawedo should make his title hereditary. Obayawedo now made the Ogiamien title hereditary to the Ogiamien family, because that was one of the things he pleaded for, that Ogiamien considered. That is why you will discover when you are reading Benin history that Ewedo created the Ogiamien title.
Yes.
Not really. The title had existed, but it was illegal.
And Ewedo is the one that legalized it.
Legalized the Ogiamien title. Now, but when he was made a title, he was not instituted as Omadeba Urorokba Uwegwa until Obaesigie became the Oba. Now, listen, you remember I told you at the beginning, I'm rounding up now so that they can ask questions. You remember I told you that the greatest opposition that Evian faced was Olia Nowarobo.
Yes.
Now, there is an historical rivalry between the Olia family and the Ogiamien family. The Ogiamien family hate Olia family till date because Olia family or Sie ni amana mebari Ogivedo. Now, I want you to listen. I'm talking about a precedent story. Now I want to narrate what happened during Obaesige's time. Again, Obaesige ha yarioba. The Avolia Mateo Norioba ni. So Olia rebelled. Avolia Natio Ogiamien. The battle between the Ejion, the Uzama chiefs, and Obaesige, which was led by Edogun in the side of the Oba of Benin. Now, he defeated Uzama ne. Obaesige now created another councils of chiefs. Anatia Uzama Nibie. We call them the junior Uzama. The senior Uzama on Owawe Olia. Why did he create it? So that should in future, Uzama Nana Degbe misbehave and our the Uzama Nibie will now usurp their function and now coronate that crown prince in any time. So he now created a junior Uzama to checkmate the excesses of the senior Uzama. And do you know what Obaisige did?
No.
He added Ogiamien to that junior Uzama to spite Olia. Am I able to understand?
Very well.
300 to 400 years earlier, it was Olia that ensured that the Ogiamien never became kings in Benin.
Yes.
Now, 300 or 4 years, 100 years later, the Oba at that time also now gave power to an Ogiamien to be able to rival an Olia in the future, a form of checks and balances. So the Ogiamien now belongs to a chieftaincy title called Uzama Nibie in the palace. So these are provable historical facts that the best an Ogiamien is Ohamoba. Let's not even go to law. By the time we begin to open the law, that is why you can see Arisco is parading himself, but I'm a fugitive. You understand? I'm sure you read Ave maninya doya sorry Germany, sorry Italy, sorry France, sorry Odoya Kofi Pege Manoriobi. Manoriobi. Mawatota very comfortably.
Only a duty, a wise man, daddy, the backyard of a foolish man.
Exactly. Our motto resign. Our the people from Ile-Ife, from Yoruba land. Funny enough, even if you are from Olia family or you are from Ero family, the moment you don't support them, you become a Yoruba man. But the moment you support them, you become a Benin man. And a Godomigodo man. Irrespective of they do care Babare who carry other family. But if you don't support them at all, you are a Yoruba man. But if you not support the whole world, you Shakiri. That's their stupidity. So these are just some provable historical facts that can be verified.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the Wesekekabo. And before you start Akiati call Olakoko, which you are timing not to illustration. Please just for brief 3 minutes is about after the our father Oba Esigi, what transpired during the reign of the Ogiamien, which was involved in that group. What significant role did they play during time of Oba Esigi tenure?
Are you asking me a question, sir?
Yes, sir. The way the Ogiamien that was added to the group by Oba Esigi, what role did they play in? Did they play any significant role? Because Esigi, we all know Esigi mother. Again, Ogiamien, the palace of Iyoba. The role in Ogiamien play who way? Please explain.
No. I think the function that they have to the palace, like Ogiamien Kaiwaba, is because they were good wood carvers.
Okay.
They were given the role to carve the traditional tool.
That is the Ogiamiens.
The Ogiamiens. They were they were given the responsibilities by the Obas of then to carve the traditional stools of every Oba of Benin. Every reigning Oba of Benin. Agba.
The reason why I asked you that question, I know it. I just want you to touch on it. That shows that they have no claim because they are carving the Wagane Naganoriove.
Because
yes.
Agani is Agba. It is the traditional school of the Oba.
That role that was given to them strategically, it is very clear that Oba Esige knew what he was doing, trying at the same time to make them know where Wamanyakete now, you are my servant.
Exactly. To prove that they are servants of the Oba Benin.
God
which has been their role since that while.
That is why I asked that question. So a caller can Olakoko.
Okay.
Let the caller come in. 2 minutes. Because they will boom. I understand. They will boom.
Yeah, Padomo.
Domo,
sir.
If I am my prince of the prince.
Padomo.
Domo, sir.
But once I keep what we met for 2 hours. You sat me down for more than 2 hours listening to you because aware to say my batita or Bukarajo question, aware to them and at everybody, I was your where I saw it with that point. If I was it, Uga got Pamio,
sir.
the Mioka, Uga the great boy, Yoka of religion too.
Sir.
Any cow guero,
sir.
Of you. In Munana, Uga Yosabo.
He said.
Any cow guy where I saw and say,
he said. He said. He said.
The Facebook is deploying wanted in it.
America. Okay. Well, I said, where say?
Send it to me also, sir. Send it to sir.
Okay.
So, you know, every man, if I don't do what, went to.
Mama here, no one.
Domo, sir. Domo, sir. Domo, sir.
We know it's on a meta. Oh my God, the red call yati this topic. All right, we'll take the next caller.
Take the next call.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey, Domo. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Hello.
Go ahead for your.
Hello.
Domo, sir. Go ahead. Mawai Nuta. Yes, Mawai Nuta. Go ahead.
What's your question, sir? Not aware, sir.
Papa K, it was Baba Domo. Yeah. Mr. Zodua,
You know, I only have very correct and very good.
Oh, direct call. Why I cut it from?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Leave it. I am in Utah now. I am in Utah. Go ahead. 2 minutes.
Of that OAROBO perspective. You understand because for marketing is complicated and how Roma. If you're big bag, now go give you. They not casting a money after the OAROBO perspective. You don't allow. Ukabwa taking our Latin, our table league, Emma, Obanadi. Kubegi Naya Bibe, go Teddy, Oba with already, Oba ready, Oba Populi, go Yoba Tekiku, Yeoba or Oba. We understand, Odepa, and our table, the family, who table the head of nowhere. Ola koko provision my what table there problem go e go me no ye who ya
oh but we say man you know turn it we say my ticket to be met we ticket the next call we say kakabo a direct call we ya do ya fi a call another banner so that they yes, now go ahead, caller. Direct call, cut you back.
Hello, so, every time Mr. Zodua, my baby.
EMA would we go. I'm going to call away. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, hello. Ola, good evening, sir.
Yeah, evening. 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Good evening. Yeah. Happy Sunday to you, sir. Yeah, I want to ask Uzodua something that has been a sort of confusion for people, myself inclusive. Yeah, when he was giving account of his submission, he
Loud. Yeah, go ahead.
One and the same person. That is my question.
Go ahead. Repeat it again, please.
And yeah, and also
repeat the first question. The first question. Repeat the first question again.
My question is
oh, wait, you direct in our land. And I am my leg. Go by phone with mama.
Hey, pick. Who to go up here?
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
My question to Mr. Ozodua is a Kaladera and Ozodua one and the same person? And also, the name also, when we look at the history books also, the name Oranmiyan also comes up. Is Oranmiyan the son of a Kaladera or Odudua? Thank you, sir.
Ozodua, do you get it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, thank you.
All right. The answer now. Where the Kaladera and where is Odudua? Where is it the same person?
Yes, the same person.
So, Mr. Caller, I hope your question is you got your answer.
The second question is not very easy. If it's the same person, so Oranmiyan is the son of Either Benin's will call it Ikaladeran, the Yorubas they call him Oduduwa. Is the same person. So Oromiyan is the son of Oduduwa, or Oromiyan is the son of Ikaladeran. The same person.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, go ahead. 2 minutes.
Now, maybe direct to you, and not go direct to you because they didn't have direct to the money and I'll speak up. So, Mr. Joshua, Iyama, they not getting at me because Ogiamien only has Jonah, only has Rana.
You mean the Ogiamien family?
Because when we are so the art near out and the way when you are discover the dignity, the people, a criminal, any anarchy. But and not take a case when they hear those you, when other politicians do, and don't stop, a manner or take a case of persecution. Then the government where a persecution. Then, if they continue their activities, if they are selfish people might again, they have to be persecuted again, including the people whosoever that is supporting them. Because in Surulania, the whole Nigeria, the way they are changing the history, there is not one of them, no man here where there is the history there, but it's just that the politicians, if they don't start, they don't care. They don't want to do anything. They just hello.
And 2 minutes.
When the question.
No, leave a question where you turn now.
It's more important than a question. When you ask questions, we from not ask questions to the next 10 years.
Okay, who will contribute? Who give my way you are contributing? Or a question who will contribute? Go ahead.
So, like what I'm saying, we need to be active so that even maybe even a big guy, I don't know, another person will come up and they have been doing all these things. And what those areas, the people of Winana, they are from these better people.
Okay. Around there.
But what they are doing all these video activities, there's no good talk to them. There's no let them know what people are doing is not good. But on our own, we're supposed to fight legally and stop these people from this nonsense.
Okay, fireman, hold so that the question. When my time, my get Evian, my Guizodu Wagwan. We will not discuss that.
Later, the Mayagba conference call after this broadcast. Who else? Mami, can I take on that call? Who else? All right.
The next caller, so that already that can 15 minutes. We are Okpa on your round up.
Okay. Hello. Yes, happy Sunday. Go ahead, sir.
Happy Sunday. I'm going to go to Kisnu. I
agree with you.
2 questions. The first question said, the king is very clear that the Ogiamien family, they are just ordinary, just a commoner in that land. They don't have the blue blood. I don't even believe they are really Benin because first, according to Osarobo, if you go back to the beginning, from the Genesis from Idu, who is the progenitor of the Benin lands, Idu is the, I believe, said the Oba of Benin, the south, the Paidu Siraj, which the Ogiamien family does not have the blue blood or the lineage or serving the ancestors of Paidu. That is clear from that. Then the second one, question I want to talk is what I just tell us just now, say the Caladera have children in Uwato. And the question is that if the Caladera have children in Uwato, why the Benin, the only Anoge at that time, why they not crack those children? Because I believe those children, they are older than Oranmiyan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lodowa, the floor is yours.
Okay. For the first person, Noah contribute. Let me quickly answer him. I know he was contributing, but let me quickly answer him. See, Epa, for what I have known, what makes up what we call Benin history today is the good, the bad, and the controversial. If there are no bad parts of history, the history would not be complete. It will be replete of lies. If there are no controversial parts of the history would not be complete. To get the wholesomeness of one's history, you must see Edoya Ekbita Agmoya Mebalovie view abi view whether Ekiokpagha. The role that the Ogiamien family are playing in Benin history is to even make the history very exciting. It is the reason why you are now sitting down and debating it. The major reason is the most important thing that they remain minority, like I have said. When every Ogiamien son or daughter is born, this same lie, neither they open their head, they put inside. That is okay. I have no issue about that. But when me also born, I will also open the brain of my own pikin, put truth inside.
Exactly.
So that when my son meets their son, so we're around in the future, my son will be able to tell their own children, say, now allow now they lie. This is the history based on this logic. So you cannot, because of say they disagree or they are an opposing figure to the royal house, that makes them non-Benin. No. Even when we some people, when Charlie Poppy, when some Benin people be one raise eyebrow that time, say, now Ogiamien ain't been Ogiamien. No, I say, no. Now our son in whom we are well pleased. Everybody can't agree with the kind of bitterness. If they were saying the truth, a lot of people would have since believed them. Their heart is full with bitterness. No love. So we will come, it will be like people now, it be like mad people. You carry them, go psychiatric, you cure their madness. We need to extend hands of love to them. Their heart is filled with bitterness. So not to stop them from exercising whatever lies that they want to exercise. Like I always tell them, if person is something they person mind, give and time, make it take talk. All these things when they talk, since they don't lie all the lie against the royal house, it will not shake the royal house because they are all lies, they are not verifiable.
Yes.
So I know say sometimes some of us get very emotional. Don't get emotional like them. Let them say nothing when una think so una don't hear when me never hear. No lie when they never lie. Nothing when they never talk against the royal house. Say papa they sleep with pikin. Say na so that they use human being. They don't kill 1,000 people. They do You understand? But can they provide these evidences? Can they come to Nigeria now? I tell you, say, as they lie, they be fugitive. I talk on just now. If what you are fighting for is true, you come and prove it. But they are all in fugitive. They are all in exiles. That is why they cannot come to Nigeria. But again, we're not threatening them. Now then they threaten us. We only just say, okay, come, make we go court. Go and prove your case. They have no case to prove. They have no single law backing them. So, but say, make we come, they pursue them, they go say, and I saw the politicians like you have said, blah, 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 blah. If something they person might make it talk, if you not talk, it will continue to the bottle until a day we will still talk. So all these things, when they talk, maybe they talk and you're they go. It doesn't change what Benin Kingdom is. Benin Kingdom is currently fighting Igbos, fighting Yorubas, fighting almost all tribes in Nigeria. But we are still here. Not to think about small Ogiamien. We're not rich. They're not rich 0.01% of the entire Edo population. So let them continue to play their role as an opposing figure in the kingdom. It makes our history very robust. So now I say make I talk about that one. Like my brother who asked that question, it is true that the Kadadera had a son, not sons, not plural, had a son at Uwoton. But he was not made an Oba because when he was born, he was a child that was dedicated to the deity of water. Ikaladera introduced Olokun to the Uwoton people. It was the same Ikaladera that introduced Olokun to the Ile-Ife people. That is why
Yoruba.
To the Yoruba, not to Yorubas. Ile-Ife is the only people in Yoruba land that does Olokun.
No, I know now. Present day, they all claim all of them together. You know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Till
Thank
date.
you. Thank you.
Ile-Ife Okpake kana Olokun. Olokun ni enya Ikaladera wa mwe. Ikaladera was an Olokun priest. So what he dedicated that child to the Olokun deity. So the line of that child, at Ohen Okun of Uwoton. Those are the line of Ikaladera's child, not Bell, which till date, they were not, because he has dedicated them, he has dedicated that son to the Olokun deity. He was not allowed to be a king, and he was not even allowed. You know, I always talk about 3 principalities. Lido. The title in Ohonku of Uwoton is one of them. Cross Udongieka, Udongieka. Udongieka, that is what you now call Ago Street for the Kenwa
Road.
Era Aduwedo. The title in of like I said, there are deep things that I know that I cannot say, but let's leave it that way. So, but not that they didn't find that, but when they found that, he had already dedicated a child dedicated to Olokun cannot be allowed to take another position. All right, that is why they went in search of the one that was born in Ife, and not the one that was born at Uwoton. He had an elder brother. Romy had an elder brother in Benin that was born at Uwoton. But even Ohan Okun of Uwoton will not even tell you except a Korean. So those ones would have been claiming for the throne today, but they know that they were dedicated to the Olokun deity. Sorry, no, Olokun is not a deity. Olokun divinity. Olokun is a divinity. So that is why Ile-Ife is the only place that practices that is Olokun is not a. It is not a common deity in Yoruba land. It is only practiced by the Ile-Ife people. If it has extended to any part in Yoruba land, you know that it was Ile-Ife that took it to other part of Yoruba land. Because our son took that practice, that worship of divinity, of the Olokun divinity, to Ile-Ife. So when they are telling you that, why is it that all the deities in Yoruba land is being practiced in Benin? There's a lot of deities in Benin land that is also practiced in Yoruba land, one of which is Olokun. So that's the answer to your question, sir.
So we take this last caller.
Yes.
Wow. Hello. Yeah, Domo sir. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I greet every one of you.
We greet you, sir. Happy Sunday.
Yeah. I greet Odowa. I greet Elema and others there.
Correct, Kisley. Yeah.
Mr. Zodo, I want to. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. It's deep. My why nuta?
Yeah, I greet Zodo, Lema, and others.
Oh, where's the man?
Zodo, I want to ask you a question. Or I want to quickly. So, my name is Dan Owo Basri.
You're welcome.
So I grew up in that palace in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. You know. So the question I want to remind Izoduwa for a little mistake that is ongoing that in our circle in Benin. Let me not attribute to the palace. Ogiamien is a story for another day. I don't want to go into that. I know he's not a Benin person. Then, when is it become a norm for a title holder, our turn to family, a household name? Because I understand that Bishop Basekio retained this title according to my own great grandfather, and I read it. Irawa Ayobage Gunorine Orogboka Wabirage Agwebo Nuwatie Isekwe, not his name is Agwebo.
I want anything.
You cannot bear anything. Pushudi is there, Yase is there. So that second man, your son go another. My dad told me where this man is not a Benin man. I believe they said it's from Usuka. Usukwa, that's Oshimiri area. This of Basek in Akela Adorieto. His full name is Obidoyo. We will go on your Basek in Yado, according to my father. Why is all of them asking Obaseki now? Obaseki is a title. He's not a household name. That is number one. Chief Nusa Agwebo. One time they were not calling him Nusa Isekwe. No. He's a priest. Or Kadboba Wowa Era Hamamego Afi. Alawi Mine Asokagbe from Yama from Hobi. Also Hureyo. Enio Agwebo. His father's name is Agwebo. His name is Nusa. Why was he asking Nusa Isekwe before all what took place now? now happen. That is all I would just want to ask. Because they made a measure of Uhore too. Uhore, I know, one is in Ini, under Ogiamien. And that is what that started from Okoro, already the Sensibio, Luwini, Budoni, and know of one Uhore there. So that's why, this is what I want you to know, and I want you to explain better because every year the Robazeki, you give me where say, according to history, where no day where say because I could go and it was very industrial. Or wait now, how my can I have my analysis? You get a Robazeki no day. That is what become Obaseki. The family name is Obidoyo, which I know. It's like with some of Benin. You know what I'm saying? You cannot say that Yesamana or Igbenedion or Yesama or no, the lucky one to have dinner where you will of Yesama. But this thing has to be correct. Corrected I mean. That is just what I want to say, and I want you to give me a reply to it, please.
Okay, pa.
Wow.
Come on.
History deep, as a writer for here just now. History deep, where we won't hear from Zodu. So we're not here about Obaseki. Wow, motor video. Let's go.
With all due respect to a power Basri, I have done practical research on the Obaseki's family. And this is not a speculative history. It's an assertive history. The Obasekis are pure Benin people. If you're doing it's just let me put it this way. Okay. Yeah, I mean in low door, the people might not really grasp what I want to explain. The story of the Iseluku. It's just like an Iseluku man, someone from the royal house of Iseluku, returning back from Iseluku to Benin. Then, after some time, the Benin people will now be saying that all we do, we say Luku. But don't also forget, the royal house of Iseluku, the first king of Iseluku, Wadia, Oviobawano. Area Unsukwawahi. There was a matter that happened long before the Unsukwa matter. I want to draw comparison. This matter happened during the time of Obaesege. The Obi of Iseluku at that time, Onabio Omokbayohe, Onabio Omowe, Onabio Biakbayohe, Onabio Omowe Yowa. Ogibia Yowa, Nyegi Wune, or Tohiri Urwe, since he was a king. There were now quarrel between these two sons on who to ascend the throne of Iseluku. Now, I want us to pay very attention. There's a reason I'm driving comparison between Iseluku and the Obaseki family, because it was about the same thing that happened almost 300 years apart or 400 years. I want to drive an explanation so that you people will understand very well. So here I've had the two sons. I think one was called Obio. Then the other one was called, I've forgotten it, I've forgotten it. I did a video on it. I probably will, after this one, I probably will forward the video. The video was the chronology of Ezechime, proving that Ezechime was a Benin man. And all of that, Ezechime, but I did a chronology on that studies. So these two princes, said Oba no wa rekete again was Oba Esigi. Agi boezoni anabe Ovioba nodion or yoba or Viryogi. So even if una bear yohe, so then I said that the one who was to be, who is the rightful occupant of the throne should stay back in Benin so that they can train him on the rudimentary of kingship. That is why most Iseluku princes are trained in the palace. Our Maya time we were going. Then yanabe normal na bonyegbe many ayaza don't normally the one that didn't win, that one should return back home. Only so why he looted everything that was in the palace and ran away with his sister. Honor ya form a kingdom away. Again, Nagi trained where though Yiyashowa, the palace was completely looted. 300 years later, the same matter had happened between two brothers when their father, who was the king of Unsukwa in present-day Delta State, had died. Now, Opa Regenigi Boezo, it was Akenzwa the first. Akenzwa the first on Agis. Ogi Boezo, not losing or all. Because of what has happened about 300 years earlier, never have looted the palace of Unsukwa. Then I said they will not allow him to return back to Unsukwa. But don't forget, the first Enogi of Unsukwa, the first king of Unsukwa, was a Benin prince. Iyorogboa, one of the sons of Orogboa, Oya former not Orogboa. Orogboa, sorry, Zorogboa. One of the sons of Orogboa, Oyarioge, one of the princes of Obarogboa, Oyarioge Unsukwa, which coming to this my narration, Ega Kenzwa the first. So Agi Boezo, the one who lost the case, was called Osifo. Then the one who won the case, Agi my time and then was allowed to return. But the one who lost the case, Anabe Akwe. Not the Egbe Arie do, another Egbe Arie Unsukwa, that never Yabe Boligi, citing the instances of what had happened about 200-300 years earlier in Isoluku. It was not retained. But don't forget, if you do, if you banagi utedu Arie present day Delta region, Dana came back again. So he was made Osifo. His name was Osifo. It was that Osifo ni Odo bie Ogbede Oyo. Oyo ni imagine do yate Oyo the kneecap when able to kneecap
exactly
was swollen. And I bonge boyo in a do Oyo, it was swollen. So he has a swollen kneecap. The nickname, a nickname in it was a nickname to him, or when I do yate Oyo, Ogboyo, Oyo, but his name was Ogbede Oyo. Now, that Ogbede Oyo was made an Ineni Biwe. A pa understands that una wa Oriowe Wotedu, there are some titles that are not given to Oriowe. One of them is Ineni Biwe. They are not given to outsiders for whatever reasons. When I want Mangweye, when I want Osoidi, when I want Neni Biwe. These are Ineni Biwe and Osoidi are the heads, are the double heads of Wangwe. Wangwe is the head of I said Iwebu. Wangwe is the head of Iwebu. Ese is the head of Iwegwa. Then Osodi and Inenibiwe are the heads of Ibiwe, the co-heads of Ibiwe. These are strategic palace courts that are not given to non-natives. I also would want to cite another example concerning the second Iyase of Benin. The second Iyase of Benin is from a place called Onitsha Lona. Was from a place called Onitsha Lona, but they were pure Benins. Iyasowo Barogboa. Because it couldn't be a place having a proximity to Igbo areas, his language changed. Omazedo say because Odwana Bio Obodo. Edona don Iyase Obodunkem Obodumbem Edohoi. Because he wasn't speaking Benin. That is not the first Iyase that didn't speak Benin. There was an Iyase Nawaati Okorotun. Iyase Okorotun was born in Ekiti because his forefathers had fought in the Benin-Ekiti wars. They were retained in Ekiti. After Obaeweka Hiriobane, some of the Benis came back from Ekiti. One of them was made an Iyase, Anaati Iyase Okorotun. Iyase Okorotun could not speak Edo language. He was speaking a mixture of Edo, a little 20% Edo and 80% Yoruba. But he was a pure Benin man that left here between the Benin Ekiti wars, the Benin Ekiokpagha wars, but he came back. The same was the Obaseki family. They went to Nsukwa and some of them came back. That is why some of their families are still at Nsukwa, but they are Benin people. Now I have answered that. I can give you a lot of historical books to prove that they are Benin. They, when Mehete Godwin said, they told me to more cavitas. Now, Awo was one of the sons of Ogbedo Oyo. He was given a title of Obaseki. Don't also forget, after he died, he was first given the title of Obaseki. Then later on, it was upgraded to the Iyase. After he died, his son, Gaius Obaseki Sr., was also given the Iyase title. But that Iyase title was given to 3 of the Ogbedo Oyo children. 3 of them, the Obaseki title. So, but Oba Akenzwa wanted to remove that title from them. They protested. And they said, you know, I told you that part of Otinya Haiwa, one of the Obaseki family. If I give a chronology of the Obaseki family, I'm not saying Godwin. Aside Godwin being bad, there were other of Obasekis that were very bad as well, even worse than Godwin. This is not me trying to paint the entire family, but I'm saying that that family has produced up to 4 to 5 persons that held the kingdom down outside Godwin. When Akenzwa was trying to give that title, the next program I will feature on Olakoko, I'm going to bring a book written by the late Esogma, Chief D.U. Edebi, the late Esogma, and I'm going to read some passages to you. He clearly explains the recalcitrant attitude of some of the Obaseki's lineage. So Akenson wanted to remove that title from their family, but they protested that he cannot do it. That Ohamaimo title ni no more okpa. They're bogging, but I'm no mabe. Obarediawa in his infinite mercy, when he now saw that they were hell-bent on retaining that title, now gave that title to one of the Obasekis, now called Obasekis now, to one of the Ogbedio, and gave it to them as an hereditary title. So that title now became an hereditary title retained with them. So that is why I understand the past confusion. There is Obaseki as a name, and there's Obaseki as a title. The title, they didn't allow that title to leave their family. So no other person has ever had that title except that family. Over the time, they now became known as Obaseki, even if it was a title and it was retained in that lineage. That's why they be Obaseki till date. And also forget they produced 2 years that were illegal. Ago Obama Mayase, Gaius Obama Mayase, Ebome Vayase. I think I did a video on that. That the 2 illegal Yase Noredo. They are 17th Yases. The current Yases is the 17th. Uwe 17 Evawo is Dagbo. It's there. It's everywhere in all books. Dagbo no.
That is historical fact.
And it's an historical fact. They can't even argue that Obama man ago. That is why if you are very aware, the family are aware, Oba never wanted him to be buried in Benin land. That's another story for another day. Now, coming to Isekure. Isekure is also a title.
Exactly.
Like a part said, their names are Agwebo, but Isekure is also a title. I have done, let me just quickly run through, but I'm going to be fast because I'm very, very exhausted. Let me just quickly run through. Iha mani ogbe, owe eha, owo monoba. Every day, owe oya awe ha owo monoba. Ro eva ori oboka eha. Eha at your forehead, owo monoba.
Exactly.
Iha mani ogbe and ogefa no mwekbo. Ori oboka eha owo monoba. So Iha mani must propitiate Oba's heads every morning. Again, it ties to there when I was explaining the Ogiamien issues. Again, Nana Negwana Karu Sama. So Ihamani Ogbe Porter is very close to Sama Palace. So the Ihamani Ogbe of that time was very old. Again, by where do you move palace? Usama Ajuwo Edo Ogbe. Ihamani now pleaded to Bayewedo that no lao, he's an old man. The distance, no hearing in our lamoto. Egeni oware, abifien zevani ra, afien ra. So it's quite a journey before you can leave the quarter of Ihamani Ogbe Adie Ogbe Vidian. So it was a difficult journey. So he pleaded with the Oba that his second son, by Hemi and Ayaragmon, which is the father of Ewedo. Right? Again, Hemi and Ayaragmon, which is Owa Lily and you by our, so he knows what to do. Why his own first son? Only Mama Boma or your but in Hindu Mai and I'm not now. So he now sent his second son, which is the line of this Agwebo, this Nosakari. He now sent him no Yaweha or Bayewedo. He did it for a couple of times. Bayewedo loved him as a person. He now told which was their father at that time. Automatically, Otonariore, because Ihamanihogbe title is hereditary. Otoariore, the first one also becomes Ihamanihogbe.
Yes.
Now, but the second son again, so money Gihungie, the Ihamanihogbe at that time. Now, allow this second son now see I near Bowane Ugogbe, which is Owani no Mogi Bonebe, Nagi Mioe, the Shokmomba, because that was not his ass. Otoba no. Is a traditional ground. It doesn't own that.
You're very correct.
Moya do bewane no diawa, so that he is not far from the palace. So with a title called Isehure. Title Bayewedo instituted is one of the first outside. The Iyase was the first title that was created by Bayewedo. The second title was Esogba. The third is Isehure. These were the pioneering 3 titles that were created in Benin. Iyase, Esogba, Isehure. These were the first 3 titles that were created, but Iyase was the first. So no title was created in Benin land before Iyase. Those Olia, those Eho, they are not chief of the Oba Benin. I've done a chronology of that. So they are not title holders. So he now created the Isehure title. Isehure Oidwawe Ehaoba for years until the current holder, which was Nosahai Olado Sotegwa. Aiki history book. What Omon simply did was to revert the original role Nisekure Idwao to the original owner, which is the first son, which is Ihama, because Ihama is the Okaigbe of the Ihogbe family. While the line of Isekure is the second son line of that original Ihama during Bayewedo. So Isekure is a title of the Agwebo family given to them by Bayewedo, which if it's an hereditary title, you can bear it. You cannot bear it as your name. Title, if it's not an hereditary title, you cannot bear it as your name. It's just like when Iyase is not hereditary, but every family na Iyase automatically we change their greeting to Lavieze. Except the current Iyase is the only Iyase that didn't change his greeting. But every other Iyases, that's why they are Obaseki greet Lavieze, because 2 of the Obasekis in Iyase. Otherwise, they would have been greeting Lamugun as a griffin because they are from the lineage of OAROBO. That I can tell you for a fact. So Erioni terminus or a papa not it is a papa not that if the palace was not in good rapport with the Obaseki family, why did the Obaseki married 2 daughters from the royal house?
Yes.
Let me just is a simple fact. As an Iyase, you are entitled to the first daughter to Uwinohwa. You are entitled to the first daughter of the Oba of Benin. That was a practice until Oba Akenzwa stopped it.
It was a tradition then.
It was a tradition of the old. And Iyase must marry, no matter how old, must marry the first daughter of the Oba. It was not because any Oba loved Agu or Gaius. That's why they gave their daughter. It was an observation of the long tradition So that's the answer to your question. I've heard a lot of Obaseki people saying that. No, it was go and find that. Once you become an Iyase, the tradition depicts that you must marry the first. I even told Uwinokwa, the current Princess Ikoyeme, the current Uwinokwa of Obaiwa and Orona, Obianodion. I told her jokingly about 2 years ago that if that tradition was not abolished by your great-grandfather, you could have been the wife of the current Iyase by now. All right, I know. Is that so? No, that is the tradition. But Obaiweka stopped it. So that was why. That's the reason. And not say they married 2 of the daughters of Obairidia, of the Obas of them.
Let's see.
Hey,
No, we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day.
I have to leave. Anyone who done my one.
We say for your, we decided not to answer. Where the only way to counter these people is with historical fact. So, but even no answer instead of attacking the Undani or America, now we have to go for the anaconda. So
yeah, Baba Domo, Kagbe, happy Sunday.
He married the call.
Domo sir.
Domo.
But Asima Imatwe Isodua is big one, but they are engaged Okpa, they are not Tana.
Okay.
Maybe in future.
What you directing?
Okay, but we want women for.
Domosa, a woman for.
Mamu wa yomu for. Imatwe Isodua, a correct person. No, I can't always see your phone. You will see your phone here. You have problem with at all. Imatwe Isodua career program the platform. No. I just want to draw back. In future, we will want you to discuss the nexus, the connection between the Benin and the Yorubas. Because it's very difficult to understand why Oduduwa will go to Ife if there is no connection, previous connection. And also, I listened to some words like Izebu, Uzebu, Izebu. There are some similar words in slavery. And Ife of those days, it could be a far distance. There is no vehicle, nothing to move. What may have prompted him to go to Ife? These are the questions I've been wanting to ask you. Lawo, Genealogy, give us a preamble, the empirical, a little bit, and maybe in future engagement, you will explain more. Because it's very difficult for us to see. And also, to the point, where did we come originally, the Benin? Makere originally, is it from Egypt or from Israel? These are
Mama Israel. Go ahead.
Where's your Kagbe? Where's it?
We will leave that one. We will leave that one for another day.
So, Chris, go ahead and conclude the broadcast. Let's call it a day.
Okay. So, like Olakoko, I said we are going to do part 2 of this. So, because of some question, like Kagbe no ban, or maybe Kagbe marry. Okay, you know, understand the link where with the Yoruba clan. Our link is inside where Oviman Kaladera in River for refugee. Let me call it that way. Not for the Yoruba waiting. We are not that related in blood. So when I do anana, it will still take me another 40-50 minutes to make it clear to him. So I got the time of it, maybe I discuss with Zodua so that we still do another part 2 of this, so that all Kagbe na making an answer ever. Secondly, Mama Israeli, sir. So in Africa, that word in my everybody migrated at a certain time. And it was spread. The man but we have no connection to the Israelite, and there's no word called Israel. And so when Igbo Doniji, Israel is a name that came yesterday, even when the Benin's were already existing already. So in Egypt, where you exist, the Ogisto dynasty was already in existence already. So Mama Cave Anire. So the Emanoka Winyak Israeli, they are just trying to claim an identity in Ogiamien. So we will leave that to another day. So Lakoko, we will call it a day, and West Kakabo.
Yeah, Epa, go ahead.
Yeah, the Zodowa tribe has explained, but often the Uche, Papa, when you down, I think a highway that beer, don't know how you bono. Let's take it the way it is. That was no one of a Calabera and if is not a Jinga. If you don't move it, if you don't know,
exactly.
Who will attest to this? Also, the donor. Or why are you worried from village and not those days? If I are wrong, I say the coin. I say the coin is that you will just lie down or walk into one make it year. I smell Bonaya beer with berry, or I have a play as a friend. So that's what we say. Hey, Kaladina Ba. Or you say, the original name was not Ileife. There's no stop. We lay up. That is how it becomes Ileife. That is how it becomes Ileife. If you are not saying where my migrate from Yoruba, or this history has been going on, the Edo is on his own. But today, we often know is at this time where the people started migrating from this to, to any other place. That's it. Not in the world, only one way.
Okay.
Where's it? On my claiming info, I have a question. Another program. There's one. There's a question in the 2 years that we bestowed on him by the white people on my work. So there is no reason whatsoever to bear that title or that we have no. He has never been of Benin. Get what I'm saying? And it's some man where I want to title. You get what I'm saying? I just be like I say now because of that, or any monarchy be a farmer. Ocean is my relation. Iran or the first Ayabagi don't have from the B-way. It's a don't have the Uboka. You get what I'm saying? So I know more about this history than someone. If you worry, not only doing, but at the end, they are trying to raise sugar. That is what I don't like. But Ban is in my speech, or Boka as my team. I mean, yeah, where any Gamena Mileta, they do not know any monobano just be. That is what I wanted to ask. That's why he wrote a letter, he packed people to go and beg. Now, they just be up and beginning there. Don't get the only area. They should go to Burutua and all those areas near Kerikani. If you don't go area, Apostle, or something so done. So they should go there. You know what I'm saying? If they are not trying to come from the other place, to come where Aria Bomon Kukuna they want to be. They should go to where they come from. Mana is here to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I have to say myself.
Who say Damosa? Who say Kakabo? Thank you. But this particular topic continue. Okay, and I beg when I will not carry a call, make we not take a personal. Okay. We'll continue from here for the next other brokers. The question when our Kagbe asks, I just broadcast on the own. Very, very important. So thank you and see you all for the next broadcast. Thanks for watching.